And so welcome everyone. My name is Jessica Ventura and I'm part of the graduate recruitment team here at UC Merced. Today we have a short presentation for you all, and really our goal for today is to be able to connect with all of you and help answer any questions now that you've been admitted to UC Merced. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to my colleague Martine, and we'll let everybody from Graduate Division introduce themselves.
Hi, everybody. My name is Martin. I work in the recruitment team alongside Jess. Chances are you've heard from Jess and I with all of our recruitment outreach, and I recognize some of your names, so I might have met with a few of you. But with that, I'll go ahead and pass it on to my colleague, Angel.
Hi, everyone. My name is Angel Comer. Congratulations. I work in graduate admissions and academic services, and I will pass it over to Tanya.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tanya. I'm the Grad Admissions and Academic Services Coordinator for the Graduate Division, and I'll pass it over to Francis.
Hi, everyone. Welcome and congratulations on being admitted. I am Frances Davenport, and I work in the grad funding area in the Graduate Division. Pass it over to Cassie.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cassie Gunter. I'm the Graduate Resource Coordinator for Graduate Division. And I'll pass it back to Jess.
Great. Thanks, everyone. So I'll echo my colleagues and just say congratulations to all of you on your admission to UC Merced. We're really excited that you are considering in joining us this fall 2023. And we hope that today we're going to share some information with you that if you haven't submitted your SIR, so your statement of intent to register, that we can share some information that helps you make an easy decision and make it easy to see why UC Merced is a great choice for graduate school. So congratulations on your admission to UC Merced. Not only have you been admitted to UC Merced, but you've been admitted to the most prestigious public university system in the world, so the University of California. So you're part of our campus, but you're also part of a larger system, all of who is here to help support you and make sure that you are on your way to achieve whatever your goals are for graduate school. A little bit about UC Merced. If you haven't been to one of our webinars before, we are the newest UC within the UC system. We're about 17 years old, but that doesn't mean that we aren't climbing in the rankings. So in the past couple of years, we've really been jumping in the rankings. We've cracked the top 100 for multiple programs. We're also ranked in different areas, such as number 5 for social mobility for our students. We're ranked number 15 in California by US News and World Report. And so really, we're kind of the newest school, but we're really out there just trying to make a name for ourselves, climbing in the rankings, and at the same time, trying to provide all of you with the resources and support that you have, that you need to achieve whatever you want to do past UC Merced, whatever professional goals you have, whether it be going into industry or academia or any other fields. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to my colleague, Tanya, and Tanya's going to talk a little bit more about, now that you've been admitted, what are some of the next steps from the admissions perspective that you should be working on or starting to think about. So Tanya, go ahead and take
Grammarly está allí para mí y para llevar mi escritura a otro nivel. Con Grammarly estarás seguro de no hacer un error ya que corrige todas.
Sorry, I'm not sure if someone's on mute or what's going on, but Tanya, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I just want to let you all know about completing your provisional requirements. All of those provisional requirements are specific to each applicant, and they're all listed on your admissions letter. So because we don't require official transcripts at the time of applying, we do require them before you start at UC Merced. So some of those provisional requirements can include your bachelor's degree, confirming your GPA, confirming your degree, and also confirming another requirement would also be confirming your test scores like your TOEFL or the GRE if they are required. So again, those are all listed on your admissions letter. And so those are all due at the end of your first semester at UC Merced. So that'll be Friday, December 15th, 2023. And failure to not complete those requirements by that time would result in not being able to register for the spring semester upon your arrival at UC Merced. Next, yeah. And I'll pass this one over to Angel.
Okay, so regarding your provisional requirements, and we get a lot of questions. Again, each student is listed in your letter. It's all different. It could be a transcript or it can be your test scores, whether it's TOEFL, GRE, or IELTS. And so these are a few ways in which you can send them to us. And these are the preferred methods that we are only going to accept. And so I know that many of you, I recognize your names. You guys have emailed us different copies and files that you may have on hand. However, those are not considered official. And so you will not meet this requirement unless they are delivered this way. So transcripts, they must be sent by the registrar of your institution that you attended. It has to be mailed to our office directly from the registrar's office. That means it stays sealed and stamped, delivered right to us. Or if you have the file with you and it's still sealed and stamped and official, you can drop it off to our office as well. On the screen, it shows SSB 310. However, we are in SSB 230. If you do go to 310, we do have half of our team upstairs, and that would be okay also, but we are primarily on 230. For US institutions, if you attended a school that is not international, so majority of the time your registrar's office on their website gives you an electronic delivery option. You can opt for that and direct our email to gradadmissions@ucmerced.edu. By doing this, we will receive your official transcript file electronically. You don't have to mail anything or drop anything off in person. And so that's for transcripts. For test scores, for GRE and TOEFL, we do accept them via ETS. And so when you log into ETS, you are able to indicate our institution code, which is 4129. By doing this, we will be able to find your application and it'll just sync right over. It's a smooth process. And then with IELTS, unfortunately, the most common question is, can we send it electronically? At this time, we do not accept IELTS electronically. So you will have to mail it into us. You will have to request by British Council or the testing center to officially mail it to our office, the same as the international transcripts. And again, our address is the SSB 230. Once we receive all these documents, they do become our property. And so we cannot return them to you. We hold them and have them in your secure record. And so that is basically the only, after you turn it into us, it's done after that. If for some reason you have an extenuating circumstance where you can only obtain one copy, say your institution shut down or there's an international issue, please reach out to us at gradadmissions@ucmerced.edu and we'll be happy to help you with that.
Okay, funding. With your offer of admission, you should have received information on your funding offer as well. 97% of students, PhD students admitted are fully funded. You're either funded as a teaching assistant, graduate student researcher, or as a fellow, an internal or external fellowship. TAs, GSRs, they're employment appointments assigned by the schools. Fellowships, we could either process or they could be processed by your school, but we coordinate them with the schools. Eligibility to maintain your funding, 12 units. You have to be in good academic standing. You have to complete at least 8 units of upper division, 8 units or more of upper division or graduate level courses with a letter grade of B, S, or above. No more than 2 incomplete grades and a GPA of 3.0. I'll just go over briefly the cost of attendance for academic year 23-24. $17,217.76. 6132 of that per semester is resident tuition. Student services is $603 a semester. Health insurance in the fall is roughly $1,562. And then in the spring 2024, it goes up to $2186.20. Campus-based fees are $637 for the academic year, not including summer. There's no charge in the summer. $318.50 per semester. All fully funded grad students pay $168.50 of this fee. The $150 is covered by the graduate division. Non-resident supplemental tuition, $15,102 for the academic year, roughly $7,551 per semester. If you're a master's student, you're responsible for paying the NRST. If you are a non-resident domestic PhD student, you're covered for 1 year. You must establish residency by your 3rd semester. And then if you're international foreign PhD student, you have essentially 4 semesters that you're eligible to receive NRST awards. Then you're expected to advance to candidacy. You'll need to have advanced by the start of your 7th semester. Otherwise, you'll be responsible for paying the NRST. Employment, teaching assistants and graduate student researchers. Your percentage of your appointment is 25%. With benefits of employment, you receive fee remissions. So essentially your health insurance, your resident tuition, your student services, and $150 of your campus-based fees are remitted. They're paid as an employment, along with your employment appointment. Again, the non-resident supplemental tuition, these are awards. MA, MS students, you pay your own non-resident tuition. Again, non-residents of California, but you're a US citizen. You have 1 year to establish a California residency. Otherwise, you'll be responsible for paying it in your 3rd semester. And then international, you have 4 semesters, 2 additional, 1 before advancement, 1 after. And if you do not advance, then you'll be responsible for paying the NRST. With employment appointments, you receive a W-2 at the end of the fiscal year, so in December, with your wages and earnings. Fellowships, they're not employment-based. You receive a monthly stipend that is not taxed. It pays through your student account, financial aid account. You receive awards to offset your tuition and fees. Same as TAGSR is the NRST, the non-resident supplemental tuition. Receive a lump sum payment for summer months. You receive a 1098-T tax form at the end of the year to file with your taxes. Direct deposit is used with employment appointments, with fellowships, electronic fund transfers, EFT. There's 2 different platforms. This is specific to foreign or international students. You're expected to use Glacier, which is our tax compliance system. You need to keep it up to date. It helps us in determining your residency, withholding rates, and income tax treaty eligibility. So if you're an international student and you're awarded a fellowship, everything goes through Glacier. And then any information on this, Office of Tax Services, tax@ucmerced.edu. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. As I mentioned before, I'm the Graduate Resource Center. We have many resources that fall under our Resource Center, including our Grad Excel Peer Mentor program. This is a program for incoming PhD students whose graduate groups opt in to participate. First year students are paired with an advanced peer mentor within their research area or discipline. And that's really an opportunity for our students to have somebody who can help guide them through their first year as a PhD student here at UC Merced, and getting to know the community, getting to know the lab, getting to know some of the expectations, shared best practices. Additionally, we host professional development opportunities and conferences. For instance, we have one coming up a week from Friday, National Labs Day. We have invited presenters and recruiters from all of the national labs to come and present to our students, our graduate students and postdocs, to kind of talk about how they got to where they are today, what it was like to get their PhD, what their goals and expectations were, and ultimately how they landed that job at a national lab. Additionally, we host a faculty and careers day with some of the local California community colleges and California state universities, where a lot of our students go on into academic careers. Our last faculty and careers day, we were excited to share that 5 of our 6 presenters were actually UC Merced alum. So that was really exciting. Within the Graduate Resource Center, we also have a library of successful fellowship proposals. So if students are interested in applying to external fellowships like Ford, NIH, NSF, we have successful proposals that students can look at both digitally and in person to kind of guide them through the process of applying to those fellowships. Additionally, we have a weekly graduate student focused newsletter. It goes out every Monday at 10 a.m. As soon as you're in our graduate student listserv, you will start receiving those, and that is a compilation of events that are hosted by not only graduate division, but units across campus. It also includes funding and other opportunities, as well as resources available to our student population. Each spring, we host a dissertation boot camp. This is for students who are in their 4th year and above, typically, who are focused on their dissertation. This is an opportunity for our students to really focus on their writing. For 4 days over the spring break week, our students come to a room from about 8:30 a.m. till about 4 p.m. in the afternoon. We provide all of the meals throughout the day so that our students don't have to worry about those things. So meals, snacks, coffee all day. We have writing editors that students can make appointments with. So it's really an opportunity for our students to focus. And I know that, you're just coming in, but it's a great opportunity further down the road in your graduate career. We just hosted yesterday our Grad Slam competition here on campus, our campus finals. So Grad Slam is a competition that is hosted by all of our UC campuses. Our students present their research in 3 minutes and one PowerPoint slide in a way that anyone could understand what their research is and the purpose of their research and why they're doing it. It's a really exciting time for us. It's a great event. And so our students qualify. They go on, our top 10 go on to our finals, which was hosted yesterday. And then our finalist goes on to compete on a system-wide level at the LinkedIn headquarters in San Francisco and compete amongst all the other UCs. UC Merced is really proud to say that we have actually won that competition before. We have placed several times, and we've been the fan favorite. So it's really exciting. It's something that's coming up on May 5th. If anybody's interested, that'll be streamed live. So that'll give you an idea of what research is happening here. Additionally, student organizations, we have the Graduate Student Association. These are graduate students who are elected and focus on graduate student initiatives and issues and how they can enhance the graduate student experience here at UC Merced. It's a great way to get involved. Additionally, the Graduate Dean's Council on Diversity. This is an advisory council selected by the graduate dean. We meet monthly to discuss diversity on campus and other important issues. And typically there's a deliverable. In the past, that council has created an undocumented student handbook and other things that are posted on our graduate division website. Our contact is gradresources@UC Merced, and we also have a webpage you can see here on the bottom of the slide.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Okay, so you've heard about what you need to do for admissions and funding. And then also Cassie shared some great resources for all of you that once you get on campus, how we're here to help support you. So things that you need to know. Okay, so the fall semester starts August 16th, 2023, and fall instruction begins August 23rd, 2023, sorry. But more importantly, what you need to know is the day that you need to be on campus. So our graduate orientation week, called GROW, begins August 15th, 2023. This is our orientation week that's full of different workshops and different things to help you get acclimated before the semester starts. And in-person attendance is required. So you actually are expected to be on campus and ready to go on that date. If for some reason this doesn't work, we encourage you to get in touch with us as soon as possible. There's multiple reasons why in-person attendance is required, and some of those reasons revolve around your payroll. So getting you acclimated into the payroll system and making sure that you have everything good to go so that you get your first paycheck after you begin teaching classes after fall instruction begins on August 23rd. To supplement Graduate Orientation Week, we actually do something called Pre-Grow. So Pre-Grow is a weekly webinar series that our offices host. And basically what we do is we kind of break down the transition to graduate school. So one week you might get a short presentation and webinar on your insurance and what you need to do to prepare for your insurance, or you need to waive your insurance. We might have a session with our current graduate students so that you can meet current graduate students and ask them questions about the transition and what you need to look out for and how you can prepare. We'll also do during pre-go, we do like a housing session. So we bring in people from housing to help answer your questions and help get you those resources so that you have everything you need to feel comfortable once you start on August 15th. So save that date, write it down, and we hope that once you submit your SIR that we look forward to seeing you on August 15th. Next up, housing. So this is one of our top questions that we get from admitted students. It's about how to look for housing and how you should prepare for housing. So for today, we're just going to share a couple web links that we encourage you to kind of start to explore. It might be too early for you to start looking and actually securing places to move into in August, but it never hurts to start looking, start comparing prices. We also have other resources that we will be sharing via email. And once we get some details on we do offer a couple units of on-campus housing, and those are traditionally reserved for international students. Once we get some details about how many units we have available and the registration process for those, we'll be sure to share that information with all of you as well. So for now, we can share these slides. We've also put together an admitted student guide that's on our website. And I think that Martine can drop the link to our newly admitted student page for you to start looking at different resources. But as always, if you have questions, feel free to reach out to our team and we're happy to help you. Okay, so next, how to contact us. So if you have just general questions, you're always welcome to reach out to Martine and myself. And we're happy to filter your questions to any of our team members. So that would be the grad@ucmerced.edu email address. You can contact Frances and her team at gradfunding@ucmerced.edu. You can reach Tanya and Angel at gradadmissions@ucmerced.edu. And then Cassie is available at gradresources@ucmerced.edu. Additional contacts. So for our international students, you are likely going to need to get in touch with our Office of International Affairs pretty soon, and they should also be reaching out to you, but we have their information there. And then other questions that students often have is around the registration process. How do you register for classes? Which classes should you be taking? And those are all questions that your graduate group coordinators could help answer for you. And so we provided all of those links for all of the different schools and the grad coordinators, and also tax services. So upcoming virtual events, we already had our School of Engineering office hour this morning. So I see some people who joined that session are back for today. So thanks for joining again. We'll be having another session for all of our School of Social Sciences, Humanities, and Arts students. That's on April 13th at 10 a.m. And that's just an open office hour. So you can pop in at any time and ask the SHA staff questions about your funding packages or any kinds of more program specific questions. The same thing with the School of Natural Sciences. They'll be doing their office hour session at 10 a.m. on April 14th. And again, that's just an open time for you to just pop in and ask any quick questions that you may have. And you can register for those sessions ahead of time on our website or just join in on that day. And so that's all that we had to share with you today. But I know I've seen some questions come in. I'm going to go ahead and start taking a look and see which ones we need to answer. But better than that, if you want to go ahead and turn your camera on and turn off your mic or turn on your mic, we would love to actually just connect with you and hear from you. So feel free to raise your hand or just ask any questions that you may have. Yeah, Serena.
I'm sorry, just a quick question. So I don't know if it was answered in the chat. I appreciate y'all like doing the chat thing. If I'm already a UC employee, I've vested several years for like the UC retirement plan, and I need to vest like more years. Does my GSR or TA count towards those vested years for the UC retirements and benefits? Or who do I talk to about that?
I would probably contact HR. I'm not sure once you become a graduate student, if there is a break in service and how that counts towards your retirement. I know that none of us really work in that kind of area, so I would contact HR and maybe get started there and then see if they can direct you to, any particular person that works on like retirement plans or anything like that. I don't know. Frances, do you have anything to add?
You're right now. You're an employee right now.
Yeah, sorry, I'm an employee, staff researcher right now.
Yeah, I just ticket with you and ask them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Marisol, you can do that.
Hi, my question was regarding the stipend. I know that is dependent on package. But I don't have anything that says I need to be a TA or not be a TA. Can we walk through a little bit of what the contract should say about being a TA or not be a TA? Thank you.
Marisol, I respond to your question. If you could just email grad funding. I'll look at the approximate stipend amount for you, but I want to look at your funding offer as well.
Okay, because the funding offer doesn't say anything about TA-ship. So that's what I'm confused.
Yeah, I'll take a look.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great, Melissa, go ahead and ask your question.
Oh, hi. Yeah. So I basically had a similar question about wanting to go over my specific funding package with Francis. Um, is there a possibility that we could specifically just meet at like one-on-one? It can be in person or via Zoom. I'm local, so I don't have a problem with that. But I have some particular questions that I really want to make sure I nail down because I'm a little confused about my funding package mentioned tuition being paid and mentioned possibly a TA or fellowship, but I'm confused as to whether or not those things have to go together. It seems like you're saying any tuition paying is dependent on doing a TA-ship or graduate researching. And so I have just questions that I wanted to answer. And I just was wondering if Francis was available for like one-on-one, just sort of going over my specific package.
Yeah, feel free to email me at funding@ucmerced.edu because
Okay.
I'd like to pull up your funding offer and your admissions letter and just then.
Okay. Yeah. I also had another question. As to our transcripts, I know that that was the only provisional thing other than like health information that I have to give you guys. The only provisional thing was my transcripts, and I'm curious, how do I know when you receive them? Is there like something that will tell me that you've gotten them, or will I just be crossing my fingers and making sure?
Yeah, Melissa, so you won't really get a notification that they've been received. However, if you log back into your application checklist on the status page, you will see the checklist of those missing requirements. And once we have received the official copy, you will see a green check mark indicating that the official copy has been received. Until we do receive them, you will see a red X showing that it's missing or awaiting the
Okay,
official.
so you're talking about where my admissions letter was.
Sorry, what was that?
You're talking about the application portal where my admissions was.
Yep, so you will see the
Okay.
checklist right there, yep.
Okay, fantastic then. Who would I contact, by the way, if I have trouble getting into that? Because I was having some trouble getting into that last time to double check.
You can email us at gradadmissions
Okay.
at ucmerced.edu. We'll
Mhm.
probably send you the link again to try once more and then ask for screenshots of the issues you are having.
Okay, fantastic, thank you.
Great, thank you. If anybody else has any questions, feel free to raise your hand. I think we got through most of the questions that were in the chat, but if your question has not been answered, feel free to copy and paste and resend it just so it comes back to the top. So David is asking, who in the program should I be reaching out to in order to ask about GSR or TA positions available for MS students? Is there a specific title I should look out for? So David, the way that any kind of financial package or GSR position or TA position is assigned is through the graduate program. So typically priority is given to PhD students, and those opportunities are infrequent for master students, but definitely you could reach out to your school coordinators. If you tell us the program that you're applying to, we can let you know which the email address, but like I said, priority is typically given for PhD students, so you'll want to work directly with the program on that question to see if it might be possible. And then Annabella asked, what does it mean when you mention employment appointment? Could you have a job at the UC instead of GSR or TA? Francis, do you want to?
You could, but typically coming in as a graduate student, your employment appointment would be as a GSR, graduate student researcher, or teaching assistant. You normally wouldn't hold a non-academic or outside of those two appointments. or you could be a fellow, but that's not employment based.
Thanks, Francis.
You're welcome.
So I'm going to really quickly tell David, if you are in the CIS program, that is in Shaw, so that's the School of Social Sciences, Humanities, and Arts. We can drop the email into the chat, or you're welcome to join their session as well. I think it's April 13th at 10 a.m. That would be a great place to ask either Paku or Isabel in the program, their advice. So Marisol, I know you have your hand up. Do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
It was just more so like getting in contact with the people that have already been accepted within my group, but I should just wait until the group meeting that we'll have.
Yeah, so what we do is in the past, we've tried to create like a Teams channel for everyone who's accepted to connect with one another. We've also tried creating a Facebook group. I think sometimes it's up to the students if you guys use it or not, but we won't actually like share that information with everyone. So definitely, if you want to get in touch with your specific group and the people in that group, I would contact your PI and see, who they can put you in contact with. So that's probably the best bet right there if you want to get directly in touch with people. And then let's see. Thanks, Cassie, for dropping that email in. And then
I'm sorry, can I respond to Annabella? Annabella, just reach out to me at gradfunding@ucmerced.edu. We'll talk about I know you have an appointment. You're employed outside of the student DSRTA, but we can talk about it offline here.
thanks,
Sorry.
Yeah, thank you. And then Winnie's asking, can you talk about the SIR? So SIR, okay, nobody answered that. SIR is Statement of Intent to Register. And basically what that means is that you are committing to UC Merced for graduate school. There is a national Statement of Intent to Register Day, and that's April 15th. And that's the same across the board for all graduate schools. So a graduate school cannot force you to commit to them before April 15th. And what that means is if you do not commit if you do not commit by April 15th, you can still probably SIR, but at least at UC Merced, your funding will no longer be guaranteed. So what they do is if you don't submit your statement of intent to register, they're going to possibly take it as you will not be joining the program in the fall, and the program may move on to their waiting list and offer that funding package to another student that they haven't admitted yet, but was a close admit in the first round. So we encourage you, if UC Merced is where you could see yourself for graduate school, definitely submit your statement of intent to register by April 15th in order to guarantee your funding. And I think we had some more questions come in, but I do see, is it Akins?
Hi, it's Ashin.
Yeah, please ask your question.
Thank you for all your answers. So after accepting SIR for international students, what will be the next step in terms of like the visa process?
Yeah, so once you've submitted your SIR, you'll get some additional instructions, but our Office of International Affairs, and specifically our staff member in that department named Lacey Longbehar, will begin to work with you to get your visa process started. She'll begin emailing you, and we recommend that you don't wait to get in touch, because a lot of the times, depending on where you're at in the world, it may take longer to get your visa. And so we definitely, once you're admitted and you've decided that this is definitely where I want to come, we need to get that visa process started just to avoid any delays. And there is, we'll be sharing that date later. I don't remember it today, I'm sorry, but there is a date that we are setting that you need to have your visa in order to make it on time. And like we said earlier, right, you have to be here August 15th. So if your visa is not ready to go by that date and you're not in Merced, you'll need to defer to the fall. So that's why we encourage you, as soon as you know for sure, start that process. Don't wait on it, okay?
Thank you. So should I be reaching out to the international
Yes, if you haven't heard from them, you're more than welcome to reach out. I know that Lacey is actually out I think for maybe the next week or so. So I'm sure she has colleagues who are kind of helping monitor, but just know at least for the next week, there may be a delay in a response back. Okay.
Thank you.
Caleb is asking, is there a way to access what her salary as a teaching assistant will be? They need that information to apply for an apartment. Francis, do you know when that information or how that information is released?
Usually the employment letter will come from your program, Caleb. So if you have that information, you can reach out to them and they can give you, or, you know, I'm thinking grad funding at ucmerced.edu. I can look at your offer letter. The amount should be on that letter, but why don't you reach out to me and I'll take a look, and then between me and the schools, we could have a figure for you.
Thanks, Francis.
Yeah, you're welcome.
David, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, so I just wanted to clarify the statement of intent to register is simply the radio buttons of yes, no, and then submitting that through the application portal. No actual written statement is required.
Yeah, it just sounds very official, right? Statement of intent.
Right.
Nope,
Okay.
it literally is you're either saying yes, no, yeah, and that's it. So pretty easy. And I think Angel mentioned that you just do it all within the application portal. So this same place that you've gone to update your application and submit your application, you're just going to go right in there and make your decision.
Okay, and then that's for both the program as well as the university decision.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So
Okay.
once you submit that, everyone gets notified that you have submitted your SIR. Everyone has access to that information.
Thank you.
No problem. And I'm going to take, I think there's another question, but I'm going to skip to Abraham's question because it's kind of related to the SIR. So Abraham asks, if I choose later not to attend UC Merced in case another program moves me off of the wait list, what would be the process for that? Any repercussions? There's no, so if you submit your SIR and you change your mind later, there's no repercussions for that. You're not like submitting a deposit and losing your deposit because you've changed your mind or anything like that. It's just you've changed your mind and that's fine, that happens. But we do ask, you have a couple more days to take this, take it into consideration. And we hope that if you choose us, that you do choose us, but we understand like something else may happen and there may be another program that's a better fit for you, and that's okay too. So we would ask if you do submit your SIR, please let us know if you plan not to join. Because again, going back to that idea, maybe you get off a wait list, maybe the program has other students that they waitlisted and that could be a spot for someone else. So just let us know if you do change your mind.
And you can do that by contacting graduate admissions at ucmerced.edu and we'll update that for you.
Yes, yeah, don't forget, contact Tanya and Angel. Okay, so I know we saw a couple more questions. Let's see here. So, okay, I know Shu Chang asked about housing. So Cassie responded with that, and I will just say that our team will send information to. Typically, we have a separate form for the on-campus housing that's separate from the Office of Campus Housing. So we try to communicate that with you. What I said in an earlier webinar today is I think we'll probably for sure have a good idea by late May, early June. So just kind of be patient and sit tight. But if you aren't getting the information that you need, feel free to reach out to our department regarding on-campus housing, and we can help filter that question out too. And Marisol, go ahead and ask your question.
I have like a rare thing where going back to once again the stipend, that I had wanted to clarify the amount, and my chair of the committee had given me a different amount through email. Am I supposed to ask for a new contract with that amount, or is email just fine for confirmation that that's what I'll be receiving? Just so I know before I sign the SIR, before committing to the minimum amount, how do I go about that?
I think what you need to do is, it sounds like we need to get into greater detail and look at those numbers with you and explain them to you. So definitely reach out to Francis funding, and we need to have a separate meeting, I think might be best to just go over in detail. And then if we need to pull in, I know you're QSB, right? So if we need to pull in Dr. Wolf, we'll pull in Dr. Wolf and make sure that we can help clarify anything that you need to know about, if that makes sense.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Let's see. I think we're at the end of the questions. Okay, so we'll wait like 10 more seconds. If anybody has any lingering thoughts, anything they want to know about, raise your hand. Marisol, go for it. And I would say if somebody else has a question and is scared to ask, drop it back into the chat and we'll get to it before we sign off, okay?
Yes, I was wondering if I can get the slide deck sent out for the people that could make it or those that couldn't make it. That would be helpful. Thank you.
Yeah. Everything will be on our newly admitted webpage. Martin, you can drop that link into the chat. We also recorded this session, so as soon as it's done, we're going to add it to our box folder and you guys will have all that information before the end of the day, okay? Great. Well, first I'm going to say thank you to all my colleagues for taking some time out of their Tuesday to connect with all of you. And I see a lot of familiar faces that I've talked to throughout the cycle that have attended our webinars or live chats. And so it's really exciting to see full circle that you've been admitted, and hopefully, fingers crossed, I get to meet you and everyone else gets to meet you on August 15th. If you have any questions, I'll stick around for a couple more minutes, but if not, thank you for joining us and I hope you have a great day and you're welcome to sign off. Thank you. Martin, you can go ahead and stop recording, okay?